Hi again. Around the time when the Uranus energies introduced the New Age in 2003, many articles and books mushroomed talking about the Pleiades and their inhabitants. Since we are on the verge of changes yet again, the talks about the Seven Sisters reappeared. I do not want to get into the fact why it is impossible to have humanoid life on these particular stars. However, I went beyond with my students and discovered unregistered planets within the structure of the star formation with human-like energies and channeled a message from them. It is an extract from the third volume of my Space Sleep series called Pandemic, the Story of Mankind. It is the next volume of the first book, Intersection, and they work together. Pandemic was published in the spring of 2020. I would like to add that even though both of those two books in the series are labeled as science fictions, they are actually not. This episode tells about the messenger opening ceremony and the words received. With the chip in her hand, Zeta walked to the round table on the terrace. It was already cleaned and the black ritual cover was laid out. There were few candles to choose from and some frankincense was lit on the burner. There was a small, washed and ironed white cotton cloth for the chip that Zoltan brought back from his trip. Zeta decided upon 3 candles, one small white for the altar, one thick red for energy and fire and the help of Hades, and one thick blue for Uranus. She lit them and invited the brothers to contribute to the ceremony. The small, turquoise, pebble-like recording device was lying there, waiting for the expert touch. Wow, I have no idea how to handle this one, pondered Zeta. Let's be logical. Looking at the aura, it is organic. If organic, it behaves like one, therefore cracking it open is not the option. The full moon would help, entered Zeta's mind, but it is still a week away. There is no time to wait. I will try the frequencies. As she said that, few musical instruments were fetched and placed on the table. Logic dictates that I should use the opposite frequency to irritate the mess to open up. It is a high frequency energy. I will use deep sounds. The starting point should be the A sound. For lower vibration, I need to go down by either 5 or 7 pitches to follow the structure of the universe. I go down an octave. This name is confusing. There are 7 sounds between the 2 pitches. Why is it called octave then? They represent the 7 colors of the rainbow as the 7 natural colors, the 28 days moon cycle, 7 days of the week, and so on. On musical terms, they count the frame. Starts with A and finishes with A. So the finishing A is the beginning of another octave. It shows infinity just like the number 8. It could be. But it is still confusing, ran a train of thoughts Zeta. This African drum would do the trick, she said, and hit the ladder. The pebble moved and its color started changing, however, stopped a minute later. All right, I might need to hit it 7 times in a certain rhythm, like the heartbeat of the universe. After the last beat, the recording device started to show significant changes in its energy field. A rainbow emerged slowly, growing until it covered the table. I have to get ready to take notes, ran Zeta for a notepad and pen. When the energy covered the whole terrace, it began to concentrate at a point few steps away from her until it formed an almost human-like being who started to talk in a warm and deep voice. Greetings, Hera. I am the messenger. My function is to deliver the message from the Pleiadians. Listen very carefully. You cannot rewind me. I am not capable of answering questions that form in your mind while listening, and cannot argue. I exist until I speak. After, I become the organic part of the device yet again. The message is quite lengthy, therefore you should make yourself comfortable. Although Keta is an old planet, human life here is relatively young. In all of our 5 planets we count humanoid times in the millions, while you are in the early thousands here. That is why souls coming down here still store memories of our existence. Our schools, some of them might have even lived amongst us. The structures of the planet and our physical appearance are almost identical. However, there is a big difference in our ways of living and subsequently our ways of thinking. From now on, when I say us, I mean the 3 planets living in unity. These are Mekranat, Muscat, and Mugat. The other 2, Kilwan and Nauti, walk different paths. Following that thought, our planets are not visible from Keta. The stars cluster you call Pleiades received its name from people who cherished the knowledge and noted everything within the interrelations of energies. These people you refer to as the Greeks. Unfortunately, they succumbed to the blind force of ignorance, similarly to the great majority of the planet at one stage. I will talk about it later. Coming back to the stars, as far as you are concerned, they are named after the daughters of Atlas and Pleione. The 9 of them together show a close unity. However, like other stars, these are not equipped to support humanoid life on their surface. Here, you live in a solar system with the sun at the core. from where you gain your energy, knowledge, and fire. In our case, it all comes from the sisters, notably from Maya and Maropi. The Howdy solar system where Keta lives is an old and wise organic energy mass. The planets ooze wisdom, especially that of Keta. Knowledge was the main objective when the decision for establishing a human life form here was made. Knowledge shouldn't be wasted. Without knowledge, the matrix falls apart. The more the knowledge, the higher the resonance and stronger the matrix. This should be an important clue for Ketans. To understand the matrix and their place within it. Due to the lack of knowledge, Ketans do not fit in, for they don't have the data. The data of what and how. For convenience, they established themselves as the part and on the top of the evolutionary cycle related to Keta. This theory grants them justification for standing above everything. Also, for the sake of convenience, another imaginary story of creation is circulating that opposes the first one. This theory grants them validation for regrets, redemption, and salvation. However, it again placed them on the top and above it all. In many ways, it is natural, for none of them provides an adequate explanation on existence, therefore the search cannot be stopped. In the matrix, there is no below and above, only equality, equal right to existence. The matrix has to be strengthened. This is another clue for Ketans. The above-mentioned misconceptions changed the survival chance of the planet and its inhabitants. Marawi, the first spoken language on Keta, later became the Sumerian, the ancient Magyar, and even Arabic did not have comparison built in. This is the equality I am talking about. Where there is comparison, there is discrimination. And where there is discrimination, there is fear and hatred. And where there is hatred, there is killing. And where there is killing, there is decay. Fear and ignorance destroy. The mind can be greatly manipulated when these two are present in it. Examples here. During the Inquisition crusades of the Middle Ages, thousands of people were killed and tortured in the name of God, only for not sharing the belief system of the Church. Almost a millennium later, Ketans still pray to this killing God and spread the idea that Christianity is love. Alexander the Great, with one short crusade, wiped off and burned all the invaluable knowledge his countrymen spent many years to collect and organize. They still call him great. And now his countrymen are bowing to the same force. An ignorant mind takes always what is more convenient, and although security is an illusion, safer. The momentary situation you are in is the result of you lacking the knowledge. Even the pandemic, surface solutions do not work. You need to reconsider them. When I say surface solutions, I talk about charitable organizations with the so-called right incentives, movements against racism and tyrannical behavior, war and planetary changes, to shift attitude towards the surrounding and life itself. If you can change attitudes and way of thinking that easily, then it will not have the root to withstand time and other, maybe even more powerful forces arguing the opposite, for the foundation is not strong enough. Cathans need roots to appreciate their origin, to know who they are and learn about the universe, as they can only get to know themselves through the macrocosm. This process is not easy, to say the least, but the only way. Compulsory education curriculum needs to be changed to teach more about the holistic picture and less of the getting rich fast. Money is liquid, floating in the air just like Cathans now. They are like fluctuation vegetation tied to ideas, thoughts, and places. But since they are not trees, they want to break free. However, the knowledge, the courage, and the willpower are missing. They seem to imitate their surroundings, sometimes their pets, due to the lack of understanding. I heard about your new mission to change the electromagnetic field of Keta to speed up the learning process and reduce the harm of the pandemic. The idea is brilliant. However, there are side effects. I am certain you will properly look into it and use all the help you can get from the universe. I salute you and your team. I wish you well. Please keep in touch. I am the messenger, bidding farewell to you, Hera. Honored to be here. As those last words were uttered, the rainbow body started to ease up and scatter. Then the colorful cloud was taken by the pebble and they become one again. Zita looked at her notes, however she couldn't read them. She was utterly exhausted. Extinguished the candles one by one, thanking the brothers for the contribution. Poured out a small glass of her favorite palinka and started to sip it. The distilled essence of fermented fruits from a well-maintained garden warmed her digestive system and provided fire to the elixir of life.